Welcome back, folks. We're at Cross-Check Chats number 8 this time, and we're sure it's number 8. We've double-checked, and after last time we tried to fumble it, but we figured it out. We're on number 8. We're joined by 2 GB women internationals and Solihull Vixens. Would you like to introduce yourself? One or other?
I'm Jodie Bloom.
Yeah. Go, good job.
Jodie Bloom. Forward, play for Solihull and Great Britain.
I'm Saffron Allen, forward as well, and also play for Solihull Vixens and Great Britain Women's.
Cool. And Saffron, you're captain?
At the moment, yeah, or he was for the last tournament, so yeah.
And you're assistant captain, Jodie, yeah?
Yeah, I was last tournament.
Cool. So, realistically, you guys should have just been coming back from Spain, right?
Yeah.
What was the mood like in, say, like January for you guys? Because obviously Solihull were doing pretty well in the league. You were only lost once this year, and obviously things were going pretty well for GB following the last World Tournament. So in January, sort of early February, you guys must have been like well up for the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, really up for it. It was a good feeling. Both teams. Solihull was, well, like you say, we'd only lost 1 game, and GB was looking good.
Yeah, I think exactly the same. You know, club-wise was doing really well. We obviously had a lot of tough games still to come, but I think we were gelling well as a team, and players were playing well. You know, individually and clicking as lines and systems and things like that. So yeah, it was a shame to then kind of come to an early stop on everything really. And again, as Jodie said, GB was going well, and obviously you always get excited in the lead up to World Championships, but you know, had to be done. So
yeah. And just going back to like last year with GB, what was it like representing your country on home ice on the tournament in Dumfries?
I don't think there's a better feeling really. I mean, representing Great Britain at any point is unbelievable, but when you're on home ice and you've got your friends, your family that can all, are more likely to be able to travel up, and we've got it the later game, so people are tuning in, and we got covered, by Free Sport and BBC Sport kind of pick up on it as well, and it's just a completely different feeling. Even things like your own food, the hotel, you have that extra little looking after, as a whole, and I think that makes a big difference in such a big tournament where you've got a lot of tough games in a short period of time. I think it's a whole, it all comes as a package, and I think, I love playing at home. I do.
Yeah, it's a different feeling. It's like a completely different buzz around the camp. Obviously, everyone's got family and friends watching, like Saf said, and I don't know. Yeah, it's just like home comforts, and knowing that you've got the same schedule every day, pretty much. That really helps, and it's really good feeling.
And obviously, you picked up silver. Was that bittersweet in a way, coming close to grabbing gold, or were you like content with the fact that you'd done so well, across the tournament?
I mean, we've been in this division a very long time, so getting silver again was disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, I think as a team as well, we were playing so well, and the Slovenia game came pretty early on in the tournament, and they had a couple of players that managed to
win the game for them.
They did. Yeah,
they dominated the tournament in every game that they played in. So
we checked that. We were looking. We've done a little bit of research on what's what, and we'd looked at like the top point scorers board, and everyone's kind of averaging out like 4 or 5 points in like the top one up to like 6. And once you get like 5 upwards, it kind of jumps up with the Slovenian.
Yeah. So it was like one line just like they just ran that team. Yeah. The rest of the players were just kind of like holding lines. Yeah. And unfortunately, we crumbled when that top line was on. So
Do you think,
So,
to play devil's advocate a bit, do you think if you'd have played Slovenia later on, after seeing them play against maybe other teams and stuff, that it'd have been a bit of maybe a different story?
Potentially. I mean, as Jodie said, we've come close quite a few times, and we've had it. You know, the Dumfries tournament before came down to that last game against Kazakhstan. So I think we've at times we've been unlucky. We have been unlucky, and at times we haven't been quite ready to win gold and everything. But as I say, so you know, that Kazakhstan game, the Dumfries tournament previously was the last game. It all came down to that one game, and they physically
got out muscled, and they were just so much stronger than us. They were ridiculous.
Muscled us on the ice, and they took the game, and I think they deserved it. Although that tournament, you know, you look at the stats, and we were absolutely at the top of the goals for everything was stat wise was in our favour, apart from we lost it that last game. So possibly if we had taken Slovenia, maybe that line would have tied a little bit more, or you know, something like that. But we could have potentially beaten them as a whole. But who knows? Next time.
yeah, that's it. And like I say, it's such a shame that from all that work and obviously the fantastic season that you have, and it's such a shame that everything's had to sort of like be put on hold with what's going on. What have you guys been doing over the last couple of 3 months to sort of keep yourselves in shape and, you know, keep working at like essentially at a practice or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, off ice we have off ice plans that I basically stuck to, and rollerblading, although I haven't done it for a very long time and I can't stop on rollerblades. I've been trying to do something, and you know, going back to almost like what you did more when you were younger, like out in the garden, and you know, stick a ball out the front, you know, out the front of the house and things like that, and just doing what you can really. Took up a little bit of cycling, which is a bit strange, but something again that whilst you can't get to a rink and even to a gym, a bit of improvisation, I think. And
I think that rollerblade sales across like the world would have like skyrocketed if you'd have had like an opportunity to put like invest into like stocks on that. You'd have gone like through the roof, because so many people on Twitter and Facebook and everything have just been like down like ginnels and outside their house skating around and stuff, and you're just like, yeah, fair play. I mean, it's no good for me. I'd absolutely it, but like, fair play. Like, you've got to keep.
Common story. However, listening to ice hockey players tell us that they can't stop on roller skates. It's a common thing. It's a common. We've had more.
It's so hard. It's so different to the ice.
Yeah, I don't even try now. I just kind of come to a halt or go into something. It's nicer than grazes and.
Brilliant.
I'm surprised that there's enough stock of like rollerblades around. I'm surprised you haven't got some like players with them like kids ones that you like velcroed over top of your shoes and stuff
with
like
the
that.
stopper on the back.
Yeah. That's probably what I could do, to be fair. Talking about how you just mentioned then about going back to using some of your time to practice on how you used to do like when you were younger. A lot of people have asked us when we've been speaking to people who are more established in the game, like, what tips do you have for younger girls, younger boys, anyone who's like growing in the sport at the moment? What tips do you have for them?
I'd say, well, listen to your coaches, definitely. Always the biggest tip, because without them you can't play, and you need a coach in your life always. And a lot of the time you may feel like that they're being negative towards whatever you're doing or anything like that, but really they're there for you, they're there for the team, and they're just trying to benefit you in the long run.
That's a good one. I like that.
Sorry, my internet cut out, so I didn't get all the question, but I kind of picked up on what Jodie was saying.
We were just saying about what what advice have you got for the younger players coming through, you know, who are aspiring to sort of perform at a higher level like yourselves and wanting to sort of go on to represent the country maybe? I'm not sure that that's going to have gone through either.
Yeah, no, I didn't catch that.
Cool.
I think the main thing is to enjoy everything you're doing. So yes, put in the work and listen and do your best, but enjoy it along the way, because it is a tough sport to play and be involved in, because there's a lot of different aspects and, you know, lines and everything. You've got to be able to mentally take a lot as well as physically.
I think we're frozen again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Because she lives in Narnia.
Yeah, we're fully frozen. Brilliant.
We might see what's on. Well, while we've got you, Jodie, on your own,
Yeah.
what was it like last year when you were playing for the Blaze?
Oh, it's great. I really enjoyed it. Obviously, first going into it, I was a bit nervous and I didn't really know anyone because it's a new club. I've been training with Coventry for a while because my stepdad is the head coach there. I just thought, you know what have I got to lose really? At first he said, I'm not really sure like how much ice time you're going to get. And I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. But as the season went on, I was on power play, shorthanded, first and second line. And the boys, they just looked after me.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if it all goes to plan, I'm going to play again next year for them because they're rejoining the league.
Yeah. And to be honest, like we do go down to Coventry quite a lot, and we'd sort of like realised that the NIHL team had sort of like disappeared this year for whatever reason and whatnot. And when we'd sort of been looking at the stats, and we'd obviously seen that you'd played, and that was going to be my next question really, about how that had sort of come about. But obviously, like you mentioned, with your stepdad and stuff. Do you think it helped your game going into playing like for the women's hockey?
Well, I was playing defence for the Blaze, so I started off at Solihull playing defence, and then I think I played one game, and they were like, "No, we're going to move you back with Saff." So I only ended up playing one game in D for Solihull. But I think overall, like my general fitness was a lot better, and I was a lot stronger on the puck, and I think still it's carried on to this season as well.
Brilliant.
So, yeah, it's really good.
We lost you slightly there, Saffron, I'm afraid.
I know. I think it's my Shropshire signal down here. It's not
I said it's because you live in Narnia.
I do, yeah, it's the middle of nowhere.
What about the questions that we had submitted to us? There were quite a lot of people that got in touch, Ryan. You've got to note a few of them.
Yeah, I've got a couple written down. I'll go for one, first of all, that I didn't write down, but I do remember, specifically for Jodie. I'll not tell you which teammate because they've requested I don't just yet. Who's your favourite?
I can already.
Who's your favourite teammate at Coventry?
Ads Andrews.
Oh, she did.
I knew it. I knew it was going to be something from him.
Yeah, Ads buys a lot of stuff from us. He's always in contact, but obviously he wanted to know who your favourite teammate was.
I mean, I'll say it was him, but really, not too sure.
It's always interesting when we put out to the public and whatnot to ask questions. The other week when we had Evan Mosley on, and we had like people contacting us who we used to like go to college with and stuff, and they're like, ask him this, ask him who his favourite teacher was and stuff like that. We was like, nothing to do with the chat.
I've got a couple of fun ones. When you're on rest days at Worlds, do you prefer playing NHL or Mario Kart? That's from Beth Schoon.
That was last year. We had a PlayStation and we had the Nintendo Switch in mine and Louise Adams' room. So the four of us, including Saff, spent a lot of time in there. Saffron not so good at any of the games.
No, don't do that. Prefer nap time.
Definitely Mario Kart though.
Mario Kart.
Right.
Solid
Yeah.
choice to be fair.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games until you're winning and then you get hit by a banana or something.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I kept falling off the sides.
Yeah.
No.
This would be a very generic one. We ask it quite a lot of hockey players. Jerseys, tucked or untucked? I know you're not supposed to wear them tucked, are you? But
You're not supposed to, but I think it's much comfier tucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also depends on, like, it sounds stupid, but the weight of the shirt and the cut of the shirt as well.
Yeah.
So if they're quite loose and light, I don't mind it out. But when they're quite heavy and square, like our current Solihull ones, much nicer tucked in. But until Mr. Referee sees them as I go at you and
And at DB, as soon as you walk out the changing room, our manager will go, "Excuse me, your shirts are tucked."
Yeah.
and your hair's not braided, go back.
I always got taught when I was younger, look smart, play smart. That were our coach's thing. So perhaps that's still. And what about pre-game? Any sort of superstitions? Anything that you prefer to do or not to do, or prefer to avoid, or anything?
I always put my left side on first, but it's not really like a superstition. It's just something that I've just always done. Always go for my left skate first.
More routine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm the same. Like, there is a definite routine that I follow, and I know, like, Jodie follows a very similar routine every game. But I think that's just almost habit, especially at Worlds. You kind of get into it's obviously very different to a club game routine. But yeah, I wouldn't say I'm superstitious necessarily, but we definitely do the same kind of pre-game stuff every game. So yeah.
What I've got on social media again, I'll kind of turn it a little bit. It says tips on making GB, but I'm going to twist it a little bit. Self-admittedly, cross-check clothing, and pretty much a lot of people that wanted us to get you on. We don't know too much about, like, women's hockey in general. Obviously, we spend a lot of our time around the Elite League and the men's game. So what tips and what kind of what's the general path for young women going into the sport? What's the route? Where do you go? What would you talk to? What's the kind of pathway?
I think me and Jodie took very similar routes, like ourselves, to get there. Both came through junior boys systems, essentially. I was Telford, Jodie Nottingham. Both then made the regional teams, so the Midlands teams. England teams, again, that was all the boys systems, but even the England systems and setup has all changed since we were there. And then I got the call to go to the women's GB team. And actually, at the time that I got a call, I didn't even know there was a GB women's team out there. So I'd always played boys hockey. And actually, the manager of the senior team at the time rang me up and said, "Hi, basically, someone's seen you. One of our coaches has seen you play, and we want you to come for a trial." And I said, "For what? Great Britain Women's." I literally didn't know a player. I didn't know it existed. I didn't know there was a women's setup. Because not that we're ancient or anything, but Twitter and Facebook and things weren't really like going about really. And so I got called that way. I personally think the boys junior system is a good way to go. The club setups that are going around now are very, very good at teaching you your basics. You need to be very competent at skating, and the stronger you are on the puck, when you then do move to women's or play both, like as Jodie said, I think it makes you a stronger player, like a stronger all-round player. Definitely.
Fair play. Yeah. The academies are all pretty mixed at the moment, right? Like, there's not kind of a split at all. It's up until is there an age kind of gap? At what point do you kind of like split off from being a part of the academies and stuff?
You can, as soon as you turn 15, you can play. Well, you have to have like the head coach of the academy can sign it over to say that you are good enough to play women's at 15.
Yeah.
When you turn 16, you can play women's hockey. So from 16 onwards, really, unless you're signed over to at 15.
Fair play. Have you got what else on that, Pete? Have you got anything to add in?
No, because there were a few people that contacted us and asked us the sort of route map, so to speak. There are some women's academy teams that we work with and whatnot, and there's a lot of our friends who play mixed hockey, recreational hockey or whatnot, but they were sort of interested in finding that information out as well, and hearing from people like yourselves that have done it is the best way to find that. And that's obviously one of the reasons why we're doing sort of like these chats as well, is that it's great to sort of spread the word about hockey in general, but obviously a lot of people are learning new things from them as well. So it's fantastic.
I think as well, like a lot of the coaches, men and women's, and all different leagues and ages, they know each other and they talk. And so if you are a player that's working hard and starting to stand out and put the effort in and things like that, and really going for it and kind of as I say, starting to stand out, word will get around. And the coaches at the top do look at your stats, come to playoffs, and things like that, and you will be picked up and get noticed, I think. And it's that you'll then get the invite to the trials and work your way there. And as I say, if you've got the right attitude and prepared to put in the work on and off the ice, you will be noticed.
Yeah.
You will get
It's fair to say as well that the infrastructure that we have got in the UK is improving at all platforms. I mean, you guys have been part of that system for a few years now, so you'll be able to see that as well, presumably.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even if you look at the top at like elite league level, men's elite league level, how that's come on in the last sort of 4 or 5 years, the GB setup, the way things are being run, it's all sort of slowly but surely moving in the right direction now.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I found as well is when the Elite League basically became the 5 teams, 6 teams. Is there 6 teams?
6 teams for us, yeah.
Yeah.
Too long, I've lost track. I think that cut to make the league shorter and make the Elite League, I think that was the best thing that they could have done, really. And it makes, a competitive league. There were, before there was games where it was double figure scores and all the rest of it. And it's no fun for either team, and the player develops in them games. So I think, as a club and players in this country, I think that was the biggest step to help all round, really.
Yeah, definitely. Because you get those stories even down at like the kids' age, where a couple of years ago with the Manchester under-8s or whatever that beat someone like 60-odd nil or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not helping anyone, is it? And
no.
A split like that, I can see what you're saying with it.
Yeah, definitely.
Zoom's decided to tell me we ain't got long left, so I guess we'll try and wrap it up a little bit, Zoom stuff. So I guess one final thing then from you both. What's your, how excited, not excited, obviously everyone's excited to get back into an ice rink, but what's your plan going forward to the new season of hockey? What are you expecting for yourselves?
It's going to be a busy one, because we are expected to go to Olympic qualifiers at some point. And obviously if we then progress through that, it will be another tournament along with Worlds and along with the normal season as well. So it's going to be pretty packed.
Tons of hockey.
And we don't know when we're going to start or anything. So it's going to be a lot of hockey and probably a short amount of time.
So it sounds great.
I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
Great for us.
All the more reason to keep the fitness levels up, eh?
Yeah.
Nice one. What I'll do for everyone watching this is I'll put both Saffron and Jodie's social medias underneath in the thing, so you can go and follow them. Go and follow the GB women's team and Solihull Vixens. Go and give them a follow, and just kind of that's what we're going to do from here on out. We're going to try and make more of an effort within the women's game and see what we can do as a brand to kind of get involved a little bit more. But I guess for this time, for Crosscheck Chats 8, that's about it. So thank you for coming on, guys. It's been
thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, much appreciated, and thanks for your time and putting up with us too, because it's probably the most unprofessional interview that you'll ever have to carry out.
Nice one. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.